looking like a cyclonic rift hit you, screaming out, return your permanents, you know, so one of those lines. Counterflux, Farsi.
You better not quit this job.
Yeah.
All right, so bringing you up to date on the board here, it looks like Corey has a Volcanic Strength and a Stromkirk Noble, so 5/5 Noble with Mountain Walk and a 2/2 Cackler. He is playing against 4 lands and a Snapcaster.
Sure. So once again, we see Volcanic Strength coming into play. So Greg's up a game, but this game looks really bad for Greg.
Yeah, Volcanic Strength on Stromkirk Noble, unblockable, unkillable with any red spell. He's going to need something like a Tamiyo, a Cyclonic Rift.
You could take your permanents back with you. That was a line. Looking like a Cyclonic Rift hits you. All right, there's a Thragtusk from Greg, gaining 5 life in the process. But I mean, what is he to do about the Volcanic Strength? Seriously.
I would think that Greg's plan right now is to put all of his permanents on top of his deck and put his deck back in his box.
I don't know. I wouldn't count Greg out yet.
No? How do you beat that card?
I mean, he does have 3 lands and I think a Searing Spear in his hand, so his hand's not really helping him. So I think maybe your play is good.
Oh, wow. My line's right again.
Yeah, Zach Hall's line is correct again. So at least we have a game of 3. On the left, we have Corey with his black-red aggro deck. I think it's more of a red-black aggro.
Red-black aggro, yeah.
That's what I would say, versus Greg, who's playing Rug Control. So how are they sideboarding for this matchup? What do you think?
Well, that game really sets the stage for game 3, I think, because prior to this game, Greg didn't know that Corey had Volcanic Strength. He probably guessed, but he didn't know.
Sure.
And he has to bring in any kind of bounce he might have, just anything to deal with that.
Yeah,
Negate? He might have to bring in Negate or Dungeon Geist.
Yeah, I mean, Negate's not terrible. Negate can, you know, stop a Searing Spear, stop a Pillar of Flame, stop a Brimstone Volley. Just any direct damage type card.
Right.
I think Greg is going to bring in his Staticasters. Definitely really good against the weenie guys that Corey will have. And he's also going to bring in his 2 Dungeon Geist, try to lock down a creature with a Volcanic Strength on it.
Yeah, you know, when we first came to this match, I thought that Greg had no chance because of the board state, but now that I look at the list a little closer, I like Greg's chances. Is It Staticaster is great against Corey. It just blanks Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, it kills Lightning Mauler, it kills Stonewright, it kills Unpumped Nobles, and it's also just a 3 toughness blocker for Ash Zealot, Lightning Mauler, Cackler, all these guys.
Definitely.
It's only bad against Boros Reckoner and Hellrider.
Yeah, and I mean, Greg just has a lot of cheap removal, like you were saying. You know, Searing Spirit is a Charm, Pillar of Flame. All of it is really cheap, interacts well, and it's just awesome with Snapcaster Mage. I'm kind of disappointed that Greg only has 2 Snapcaster Mages in his deck. I would kind of like to see a 3rd or even a 4th, especially with all these awesome spells that he could be playing.
Yeah, I think it'd be better than Mercurial Chemister, but...
Well, I mean, I think the Chemister just plays a different role, but I could see it being better than, you know, a Think Twice, for example.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've been equally unimpressed with Think Twice this week.
Sure.
It's just, this format is so fast that the extra cards from Think Twice rarely matter.
Exactly, and you know, you think about it, hey, I could play Think Twice, or I could play a card like Rule Charm, I could play Is a Charm, I could play Simic Charm. You know, I could just play another 2-mana instant that gives me more options rather than just cycling.
Yeah, these games haven't really come down to who has extra cards usually.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, with Think Twice, he doesn't really have any way to abuse it. He doesn't have Thought Scours, he doesn't have anything to really put it in his graveyard. He doesn't have a Liliana where he wants to discard a Think Twice and then flash it back.
Right, it's just a plain old value card. It's a Council of the Soratami that costs 5 mana.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, sure, he could split it up over 2 turns. He could do maybe a neat trick with the Huntmaster of the fellas. But other than that, I think I would rather have Simic Charm. I really don't know why people are not playing Simic Charm yet. I think on the Pro Tour, it's just going to be a really big hit. It's just a really versatile card, and it just allows you to get more play with your deck. Again, Simic Charm, Zach, tell everybody what it does exactly.
Well, it's of course the blue and the green, instant, 2 mana. You get target creature +3/+3, so giant growths,
yep.
Or permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn, or return target creature to its owner's hand. So it's unsummon, giant growth, and Ranger's Guile all in one card.
Yeah, but it's a Ranger Guile for any of your permanents.
Yeah, right, permanent, not just creature.
It's not just creature. So, you know, if you have a Tamiyo like Greg has, they're trying to Oblivion Ring Tamiyo, you can just stop it and they'll have to Oblivion Ring their own permanent, for example, or target their own permanent with the Detention Sphere.
Acidic Slime, Detention Sphere, any of these cards.
They could choose not to Detention Sphere because you have the option. Do you want to remove it? Do you not want to remove it, but still.
Oh, people might not know that too, though.
Sure, yeah.
So Greg going to be on the play for game 3. And he's going back to the well.
All right, so Greg's going to mulligan, takes a peek, wonders if it's was the right decision or not. When you mulligan, do you ever take a peek or no?
Once in a while, but when I do, I don't get upset when there are lands on top.
Sure.
No, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, if you're going to play a 10-round tournament, you're going to really want to keep your composure. You don't want one match to upset you, one game to upset you, one decision to upset you. Because if you do, it's going to just kind of be a downward spiral.
Yeah, when I realized that that was a bad idea, was I mulliganed game 1 top 8 of a PTQ, the second PTQ I ever top 8'd. I looked, and it was like the nut draw.
Sure.
I tilted off, I punted the match, and then after the match, I thought back. I was like, well, what if I didn't look?
Yeah.
Maybe I would have won that match.
But I mean, the more you play Magic, the more you learn, and
yeah, of course.
the more you live life, the more experiences you gain most of the time.
So here we go, Greg Komar, 6 cards. I see a lot of red spells.
I don't see many lands.
I don't see any lands.
All right, so Greg is going out to 5. He looks again. Just as we said,
oh, there were 4 lands on top. I should have kept.
Yeah, so cards that I have not seen today that I thought I would. Definitely Simic Charm. Any card on your radar that you thought you would have seen?
I don't know. I thought we might see more of the 4-mana blue-black Dark Confidant. I don't remember the name of it, but
the Seer.
The Seer, yeah.
The Duskmantle Seer.
Duskmantle.
Yeah, Duskmantle Seer.
That card, I thought immediately of Moroi when I first saw it. If you don't know Moroi, it's the blue-black 2/4/4 flyer from the original Ravnica. Beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. So officially costed 4/4 flyer. This ability a little better though.
Yeah, I was also surprised not to see an aggro Grixis deck. You have Snapcaster Mage, you have Augur Bolus, you have Duskmantle Seer.
Yeah, see,
Dimir Charm. Dimir Charm with Duskmantle Seer.
Dimir Charm is very good.
Yeah, Dimir Charm is very good. Searing Spear you can play, Is it Charms. So I think there's definitely a really good Grixis shell. Aggro Grixis you want to be working on.
That sounds like a really hard deck to get the numbers right, to figure out what you want to play for Augur Bolus and for the Charms.
Sure.
That's a tough one. I bet you people are working on that for the Pro Tour.
I believe it. All right, so Corey leads off with a Rakdos Cackler, making it into 2/2. Greg has the Pillar of Flame. Let's see if he decides to use it on it. And there's a Farseek. So Greg thinks, hey, I want to rip my mana. Maybe he wants to draw into a Hunt Master. Maybe he has a Hunt Master. But mulliganing down to 5 is pretty tough.
ABR, always be rampant.
Always be rampant.
Always. So Greg, though, even though he's on 5 cards, he has a pretty solid draw here. All he needs is to draw a solid succession of lands and spells, and he's not out of it. His hand is pretty good. He didn't get mana screwed.
Sure.
He has a shot.
Corey's hand looks really good. He's got some lands, he's got some spells.
That's usually all a red deck needs.
Yeah. All right, and he passes the turn. No 2-drop, though.
He does have a Boros Reckoner ready for turn 3.
Yeah, he does. So Greg has access to 3 mana right here. There's a Pillar of Flame targeting the Rakdos Cackler. Pillar of Flame will remove it from the game. Don't really think it's relevant.
Nope, not on the mono red deck.
Yeah, Greg does not have a 4th land, however, so he's going to have to pass the turn. And he's going to be facing down a Boros Reckoner, it looks like. That's exactly what it is.
And that's a pretty tough card for a rug deck to deal with.
Definitely, yeah. He's going to have to really rely on Tamiyo or Dungeon Guy, something to tap it down. I mean, sure, he could, Searing Spirit.
Yeah, he can Searing Spirit.
But it's
not the best answer.
Yeah, not ideal. Just lightning bolting yourself, essentially.
Yeah. Greg Komar has a Thragtusk in hand. He has a Staticaster, but right now he's being beat down by this 3/3.
Sure. Corey just passes the turn. And at the end of the turn, Greg's going to drop it as a Staticaster.
And draws a land, so he's 1 closer to Thragtusk.
Yeah, he does draw his 4th land. Does Greg have any other play here?
I don't know. I can't tell what that last card in his hand is.
We know he has that Pillar of Flame from earlier. And, okay, he's just going to go for it. He's going to pillar it, and then he's going to shoot it with it as a Staticaster. Now, where did Corey redirect the damage to?
I think he dealt it all to Greg's face.
Really? Do you think there's any argument to kill that as a Staticaster?
Yeah, I probably would have killed the Staticaster. By Corey's hand motions, I don't know if he realized what was going to happen. I don't know. He just kind of like shrugged and pointed at the dome.
Sure, yeah.
He might just have a ton of burn in the hand, too.
Yeah, I don't mind. Oh, there's a Brimstone Volley. That makes it more, reasonable why he went for the head.
It does. Now, Brimstone Volley only does 3 damage because the Reckoner was RFG.
Exactly,
exiled,
yeah. So creature did not go to the graveyard this turn. But yeah, again, that's kind of contradicting because if the Is a Static Caster did die, it would deal 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mistake by Corey. I think he only gave up 1 damage by.
Yeah.
Or he would have only given up.
I believe Greg is at 9, correct?
I don't know. We'll double check on the life
double
totals
check
for
on
you.
the life
I think
total.
it's 9.
Oh, we're checking now. Okay. We think it's 9. Judges are checking for us, so we're just getting word. So we're gonna pause the game for just 1 second. Greg does have a Dungeon Geist in hand, and a Thraxus, as I said before. Can you make out what that red card in the middle is? It's like a gold.
I don't recognize that picture. What is that?
It's probably. Is it the Chemister?
No, it's not Chemister.
Yeah, it's definitely not Chemister.
Oh, that's a Clan Defiance.
Oh, okay, the Clan Defiance.
It's like the Branching Bolt card.
Yep.
So if you're unfamiliar with Clan Defiance, we'll get that on the screen for you as soon as possible.
Yeah. It's the 1 green, 1 red X spell.
Right.
Its sorcery is close to a bonfire, would you say? How would you really compare it?
I think that card is not that good.
Not that good? Okay.
Not that good. It costs 5 mana to do what Branching Bolt did. I don't know. It's probably better than I think it is, but it's a one-off max in any deck. It can't be more than 1.
Yeah, I seen at the pre-release a couple of my opponents actually had it, so it was very good and limited, we'll say.
Yeah, for sure. Any kind of fireball effect, any card with an X in it is good and limited.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't care what it is.
Okay, so a judge is asking another judge just to confirm everything, make sure everything's fine. So once again, we have Greg, Is a Static Caster, 4 lands, holding a Dungeon Geist and a Thragtusk.
As well as this Clan Defiance that we have on screen.
Yeah, and I think last turn, killing the Is a Static Caster, especially with Brimstone Volley, would have been better. It's tough though, right? Because Corey got to deal 6 damage. He had a Brimstone Volley, and he got to deal 3 damage wherever he wanted.
Right.
So what's better, 6 damage or 5 damage and killing the Is a Static Caster? I think it's 5 damage in the Is a Static Caster.
Well, if the burn in your hand adds up to Greg's life total, it's Greg's life, it's 6 damage. But in most games, I think it's going to be kill Static Caster.
Yeah. Because now the Static Caster could get in the way of the Reckless Cackler, it could...
Right, exactly.
Maybe
of a haste creature.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe halting Corey from playing a 1 toughness guy.
Exactly. See, if Corey killed that, he could, say, go Lightning Mauler, Boros Reckoner, take 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a little misplay by Corey. Maybe not, though, depending on what's in his hand. We'll find out soon.
I think Corey probably thought the Brimstone Volley would deal 5. It was definitely good that you pointed out with the Pillar of Flame.
So I'm really interested to see what conversation they're having here. It doesn't seem like there's much to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems kind of cut and dry.
Yeah. Seems pretty straightforward. But they're still having a slight debate here. So once again, if you're just joining us, I'm Gerard Fabiano here with Zach Hall.
Hey, guys.
This is round 6 already.
Yeah.
The day's going by pretty quick.
Really, really good day so far. Almost all of our matches have either gone to time or have taken up a bunch of the time off the clock. A lot of good matches in Standard.
Yeah, and we had pretty good matches all around. It's either pretty cool decks we had, or really solid players.
Exactly, and I was just talking with our director about this during our last break. This Standard format seems so much better than the last Standard format.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So much more interactive. So many more things you can do with all 10 duels.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of people kind of didn't really like the last Standard format. They're just like, yeah, I'm not going to go to this Grand Prix. I don't really like Standard, or I don't know about this tournament. But now people are definitely more excited, especially with the Pro Tour coming up. Everyone's really looking forward to seeing what the pros are going to bring to the table. Probably will influence SCG Opens for the next couple of weeks. And then the SCG Open Invitational, the SCG Invitational in Atlanta will affect more things. So it's just a pretty big cycle, Each week definitely defines the metagame for next week.
It's pretty interesting how it works. It's like a Pro Tour and an SCG Invitational. They really define Standard.
Yeah.
They set the stage for all events following them. But then the Opens, they're not meaningless, not even close.
Oh, sure. I mean,
they're the foundation. Tweak the decks.
Yeah, tweak the decks, or they're the foundations, especially when a new format's coming out.
Right.
Gatecrash just got released last week. Everybody's all hyped on that, and I don't blame them. So Greg definitely has a cool deck. So it looks like there's an appeal with the head judge. So it looks like it'll come back to us. We're not too sure. We'll take a look in a second. But once again, we'll talk about Greg's rug control deck, because Rug Control has been a deck that I've always been interested in for a while. Greg features 4 Thragtusk, 4 Huntmaster there, fellas. Huntmaster there, fellas is probably best in a Rug Control deck or a Rug mid-range. I'm not even sure if I would call this a Rug Control deck. It could be kind of like a Rug aggro tempo mid-range deck. Also, he has Augur Bolus. He has 3 copies of those. He only has 2 Snapcaster Mage, which I can't really agree with. Rug has some of the best cards you could play.
Yeah.
Flashing back a Farseek is fine. Flashing back any Burn Spell is fine. Izzet-Charm or whatnot. So that's Greg's list, and we're gonna go deeper look into it. Maybe we'll get a deck deck. But back to the match at hand. There's a Dungeon Geist, probably targeted at the Rakdos Scacular. Ty tried the. Well, we don't have time. We have Corey. All right, so we're. Oh, wow.
Skullcrack.
All right, so after all that, we're like, he's doing this, and Skullcrack. You lose, I win. So Corey moves on.